What's up and welcome back. Thanks for swinging back by for a little more Secret Invasion talk. That's what we're going to do today. This is Season 1, Episode 2. I say Season 1 like there might be another season. I have a feeling this is definitely a limited series. There's some other shows where I haven't been so sure, especially since, like, for Moon Knight, they seem to have no other plans for Moon Knight to bring him into the MCU. So why wouldn't they just do another season of Moon Knight? I don't know. Anyway, first review was spoiler-free because, well, if you saw the first episode, you know that I didn't want to spoil something for everybody. And also I wanted to give everybody that official thought as to whether or not you should watch Secret Invasion. Or whether or not I think you should watch Secret Invasion, or I don't know if anybody listens to me, but that's why you clicked it, was to hear thoughts. Just streaming from my mind. I'm like a streaming service, but it's coming from my mind, out of my mouth. Diarrhea of the mouth. Anyway. I'm a blind film critic, so I watched this with audio description on DisneyPlus. So props to the audio description team for that. Let's get into Secret Invasion, Episode 2. The big things that we learned here, we got a little bit more backstory for Kingsley Benadir's supervillain character. And, we got to see sort of the formation of all of the Skrulls and them coming together, and Talos being like, thank you for following me here. We've come to this moment, and, learning about how many are actually on the planet, and, Talos is like, my people were dying, and Nick Fury is like, but this is not how it works. And it's like, I mean, if they were friendly, I don't know that it would matter, but because that's kind of the thing about Skrulls, is it's just like a massive population influx. Then again, I guess it does matter. But yeah, I mean, Nick and Captain Marvel didn't really get on their end of the bargain of finding them another planet either, so I don't know what Nick's complaining about. I don't know how you just find somebody another planet, by the way. Like, how you, like, where is Captain Marvel? They keep bringing her up. Like, she keeps getting, like, just constantly cited in this thing, and she's just, nope. Maybe I guess she's still flying around from planet to planet going, I don't know, can a Skrull live here? Let me check. Let me put my Barbie dream house down and see whether or not anybody can live here. See if it's possible. Yeah, I don't know. They seem to have the same needs as humans, so I guess you just as a human. But then again, pretty much everybody in this universe in Marvel seems to have the same needs, regardless of where they come from. They seem to be able to exist on whatever planet they live on. So, like, if other people are living there, they can live there. Gamora can walk around without a mask on. Doesn't really matter where she comes from. Groot just drops in on a planet and he's like, I'm a tree. This climate is perfect for me. Thank you so much, Ego, for this planet. Yeah, it doesn't really matter where they come from, so, or what planet they go to. All of them seem to have the same levels of whatever, it's just perfect for everybody. So if one can live there, all can live there. In Marvel, that is the lack of thought that we've put into things. But the thought that we did put into things here is we started incorporating a lot of backstory into Nick Fury and Don Cheadle's War Machine. He's still a War Machine, right? It hasn't evolved. I think he's still War Machine. Some of these guys, they're like Pokemon, where they like evolve to other levels. Like Hawkeye evolved to Ronin for a little while. He evolved. Um, but yeah, so he comes down and the two of them talk, and Don Cheadle's in that meeting, and he's in a meeting where he has to like be like, supposedly Nick Fury's here. I mean, you haven't given me proof. So like, I mean, that's that's a Russian photo. I can't expect me to trust that Russian photo. Like, damn, deep cuts. But yeah, they don't really talk about. He's not really interested in the plan either, which is such a weird thing for Rhodey. Like, there's such bad blood between these two, and they can't seem to talk or anything. I don't know if Nick Fury can like feel a Skrull, but he said he was like, do you trust your security? Did he know one of them was a Skrull and like was like listening in? Is that why he just didn't flat out tell him what the plan was? Like, I had so many questions about that because Rhodey was just being a dick, but I also feel like if Rhodey knew the stuff that Fury knew, then he might be a little bit more interested. I mean, Fury dropped a little bit of knowledge, but not like full on knowledge. He hinted at some knowledge. He was like, by the way, the Skrulls are here. And he's like, I would have known that. And he's like, no, for real, the Skrulls are here. And it's like, what, really? What are you talking about? And Olivia Coleman's character is getting to be very interesting, and I love the fact that I don't know if she's good or bad. I love the fact that I don't know if she's an ally or if she has her own agenda. Is she gonna help or hinder? I have no idea, but her character is fun. I love her character. Olivia Coleman usually doesn't play fun characters. She keeps getting these stuffy characters. You play one queen, suddenly everybody wants you to play a queen, or queen adjacent, sort of high level, rich royal-ish characters, and she usually just doesn't get. She has to be very dramatic all the time too. She like. Everything she does has to be like, am I being considered for an Oscar? Here, she's just having fun. Here, it's just like, Olivia Colman's like, I'm not going to win an award for this. And I love it. Like, I love the fact that I don't have to worry about winning some award for this TV series. And I'm just going to have fun. And it's really nice. Emilia Clarke is, I guess she's doing some stuff. I don't know. She just kind of stands around a lot, and I'm sure she's important in the grand scheme of things. And this episode, she just kind of like made a phone call, I guess, was her greatest contribution to the story. But we did leave with a big twist at the end. Apparently Nick Fury's got a wife. Who knew? Who knew that? Wow. That's a twist. And I'm willing to drop some money on the fact that she's a Skrull. That he fell in love with a Skrull. Anyway, so he's even more invested in this whole thing than anybody else. Because I don't think they've ever mentioned that he's had a wife ever. So in anything. So I'm just gonna say this is a more recent development, and this is a Skrull that he fell in love with. So yeah, and of course, rest in peace, Maria Hill. Definitely rest in peace, Maria Hill. It was a nice character. She was in for a long time. For a character that had no powers and was constantly just running around with her own knowledge and a gun, and like that was it. She was always outnumbered by the people she was facing, but she somehow powered through until until Secret Invasion. And I guess her death is supposed to raise the stakes and to let people know that shit's getting real. You know, they did that with Coulson. In the Avengers, we lost Coulson to sort of raise the stakes. We didn't end up really losing Coulson because he came back, and I don't know where Coulson is anymore in the grand scheme of things, but he's somewhere. And yeah, they got the body and returned it home, and her mom seems none too happy with Nick Fury. So what are my thoughts now that I've shittily recapped the episode? The stuff I really wanted to talk about is, I think Kingsley Benadir he's not great. He has not wowed me yet. There's a certain level of fun that comes along with playing a Marvel villain, a certain level of playing to the villain role, playing it up, that a lot of people have. A lot of the most memorable villains have done really well with. Loki is obviously the first and greatest example of this, of having that sort of larger than life presence in every scene. Thanos is another one. Even Cate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok did a really good job of just kind of going for it. It was. I don't think she's necessarily the first Marvel villain that you would go to, but I think she did a good job. Even Red Skull in the first Captain America movie, Hugo Weaving was having a lot of fun in that role. There's just a hint of fun. Like when people get to play these villains, they have fun with them. They know there isn't this. It's this thing, and it. I feel bad to say that it comes from both Jonathan Majors and Kingsley Benadir, but they both feel like they fell out of the Royal Shakespeare Academy into Marvel roles. And you can be a good actor and be in a Marvel film and also have your villain have, I don't know, some kind of life to him. After sitting through Majors in Quantum Mania, I felt like he was in a completely different film. And Kingsley Benadir he's tilting at windmills here. It's like, there's fucking Samuel L. Jackson is on the other side of this. And I'm sorry, but every time Jackson steps in a room, like, that man says, like, one word, and the whole room becomes about him. You know, like, everything becomes, like, it's just drawn to him. So you have to do something with your character. You can't just do this little shitty fuck shit that he's doing as Garrick or whatever, I don't know, Geralt or it's not Geralt. That's The Witcher. That Kingsley Benadir is playing, which is he is so dull. Even in his most menacing sequences, it sounds like he's mumbling. He's just like, we've come here and it's time to talk about thee. It's like, you are not doing Shakespeare. Please do not overthink this role. Please do not overthink this role. The best Marvel villains have not overthought their roles. Oh my God. Like David Tennant and Jessica Jones. Like, I mean, I can think of so many people who have been so freaking good in whether they were in a Marvel TV series, Catherine Hahn in WandaVision, fucking Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther. Everyone has understood the task at hand. But for some reason, I've gotten two villains back to back that seem to be on Ambien. They're on Ambien, and I don't understand why. You want to know what's crippling the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Shitty villains. Shitty villains are crippling the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What happened before was we had heroes who had villains who were cool. Sometimes we'd write somebody in who wouldn't be that cool of a villain, but at least if they're having fun with it, it kind of seemed like maybe everything was okay. I would say that's like Guy Pearce, right? In Iron Man 3, he's just like, I don't know that he's a great villain, but he seemed to be having fun with it. You know, it doesn't always equate to a great film, but more than one performance has to equate to a great film. It's sort of the Mr. Freeze rule. It's like, no matter how much fun Arnold Schwarzenegger was having in Batman and Robin, it was not going to make that film good. It just was not. However, he was entertaining. It's cheesy, it's over the top, and the casting for him was sort of weirdly iconic because we've created this character who's, I don't even know, you know, like they went for it, and it's kind of fun to go back and watch him, and he ends up being this thing that him and Uma Thurman are really the two things to watch in that film. I don't know, the rest of it, I'm just kind of like, I like Alicia Silverstone, I just don't know why she's here. You know, I don't get it. But villains, you can be a great one, you can nail it, you can Willem Dafoe your way through a franchise, or you can just come in and sort of zombify yourself and overthink the role and act like you are, I don't know, like you're like the director wanted something else from you, and it feels like you're not giving the audience anything. And that's my fear for Kingsley Benadir. After seeing him in 2 episodes, I couldn't comment on the first episode because he's barely in it. You know, like he barely has anything to do. So I was like, okay, well, let's see. We'll give him one more scene. He has way more to do in the next film, and he just he attacks it like he's in a completely different movie. Like a completely different TV show. Like he doesn't know Sam Jackson and Don Cheadle are over there just giving their scenes far more life and enjoying their roles far more than he is. People keep talking about how he's going to get Bob Marley One Love. And now I'm wondering, does he understand who Bob Marley is? I mean, if it's a super serious film, obviously it seems like right up his alley. You know, I'm almost buying in on it based on this performance. I'm like, yeah, this dude is probably going to go for an Oscar in every scene. But this is not what that required. That's not what this is. And it's kind of obnoxious. So I need him to do more. I'm not writing him off. I'm going to hope that his character grows. I know there's more episodes and sometimes we have character growth, but right now he's boring as hell. And it's the one thing that's holding the show back, because I thought it was great. I thought how the fact that they turned it into sort of, you know, like coming out of the civil rights movement, and they had this whole big talk about like how, you know, people like us in power between Rhodey and Fury, about how, you know, usually people who look like them don't get those jobs, and when they get those jobs, you know, the goal was to do something different with them. And I thought that was a great conversation. I mean, they're starting to tie in so many other elements to it that really work. But man, I've got a villain here who apparently thinks to be nefarious is to be, I don't know, cold and calculated. He's watched the wrong films. I don't know if this dude has watched a Marvel film, but I'm not here for Kingsley Benadir's performance right now. He might grow on me, but yeah, right. It's weird. 2 performances kind of almost back to back between him and Majors are just 2 roles where I feel like they just did not want to ham it up. They just, that's the shortened version of that, is have a little fun with the role. You are a comic book villain at the end of the day. Even in the most serious work ever, you are still a comic book villain. Even in the Best Picture nominated Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan still understood who Eric Killmonger was at its heart. And he still allowed himself to have a performance that wasn't just screaming, "Give me an Oscar," all the time. Just, please give me an Oscar. Yeah, it could be serious, but it also had a certain flair to it. It's very nuanced when you do it right. This is nothing nuanced about this. This dude just did the wrong film, wrong series. So, anyway, that's it. I like this episode a little bit more, actually a lot more, than the pilot. I'm just stuck with a villain that just is boring me to tears. God. I'm gonna give Secret Invasion season 1, episode 2 an A-. So there you go. There's your Secret Invasion grade. Agree with me or don't agree with me. The only thing that I think that's holding it back is Kingsley right now. So bring it out. Do something. Have fun. Give us that over-the-top monologue. Give something. Act like you're having just an ounce of fun with anything. Really. Just anything. And it can change really quickly. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll be back next week with more Secret Invasion. Until then, I will see you guys on the other side.